What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we are here with a Pokemon challenge that we've done in the past, but it's a very unique challenge and very difficult challenge. Today we're going to try to beat Pokemon Radical Red using only buyable Pokemon, so Pokemon that cost money to even obtain. So luckily in Radical Red there's a bunch of them throughout the game. Unfortunately though, Radical Red is regarded as one of the most, if not the hardest, Romhack next to Kaizo Emerald. That's pretty hard too, and also Unbound. But anyways, one of the hardest Pokemon Romhacks of all time. Our challenge here is try to beat it. I would say I'm pretty good at Radical Red. I've been playing it for over a year now, maybe 2 years now, and I think I can do this challenge. I've attempted it in the past and I've skipped some parts, but we're going to go back and try to finish it the entire way through. Challenge is pretty simple, and one extra rule on top of everything that will make the video that much better. Each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thank you so much for leaving a comment in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It will really help me out as we're on our way to 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I really don't know if we're gonna hit it or not, but we're just gonna try to aim high always. Now to start off the challenge, you gotta start off beating the tutorial of the game and then getting to Pewter City. That is the first merchant, so we don't skip any gyms, but we have to skip the tutorial, which I don't think you guys mind too much. We have to hatch an egg, which takes a little bit each time. And if the egg is not good enough to beat Falkner and Brock, we're only allowed one Pokemon because it's the only egg merchant. And you can only get one egg per save file, so we have to get very lucky. And firstly, we got a Venonat, which is not good, so we have to restart. Again, some of these Pokemon are going to be good for one of the battles, like an electric type would be great for Falkner, but it won't be great against Brock. So we have to find that middle ground, that good Pokemon in between them. One of the Pokemon I tried to experiment was Alolan Vulpix. Unfortunately, it's just not good against the Vulpix on Brock's team. I tried Carvanha because it has speed boost, but it just does not have enough power. And I finally landed on a very unique Pokemon called Mienfoo. Mienfoo is a fighting type Pokemon, which surprisingly, you might be confused why would I try to use this against Falkner since it's a flying type mini boss before the first gym. Mienfoo is actually regarded as one of the best Little Cup Pokemon ever. It learns Rock Tomb pretty early on, so we get Rock Tomb as a move. So we could possibly actually beat down Falkner using Mienfoo. We also have to get it Meditate off, but it also learns Force Pump. It's a pretty unique and actually useful move pool. We're gonna get ourselves a Mienfoo, train it up to level 15, the level cap, and then face off against Falkner. Now this entire section took over 2.5 hours to randomly get Mienfoo, and then another 2.5 hours to face off against Falkner because we reset every single time it went poorly. Because Rufflet, when one-shot us with Air Lace, it will not miss. Even though it has Hustle, it will always hit me, and it does so much damage to me, it's gonna one-shot me. What I have to do is keep resetting and get the luckiest roll possible. I need firstly to Force Pump to paralyze on the first turn against Rufflet, so it doesn't hit me at all. Next, I need to get 2 Meditates off against Rufflet, and also I have to be a Jolly Nature to knock out the Corvisquire. So once I get, I don't even know the percentage, 1 in 1,000 odds of getting the Rufflet paralyzed 3 times in a row, 2 Meditates up to boost my attack, and then finally Rock Tomb to beat off his entire team. Beat off? Did I just say beat off his entire team? Beat up his entire team, and we could finally move on after that. 5 hours of this. And it was ridiculous because this game is not that long. I'll tell you my end time after all this at the end of the video, so watch out for that. But crazy enough, spent 5 hours just in the first part of this. Finally we beat Falkner and we could face off against Brock next. Now Brock is not that difficult. We did spend some time against him, but it's not too difficult. We're gonna start the battle off against Brock. We're gonna fake out his Udude and Force Pump to knock him out. Rock Tomb his Arcan pretty easily. His Vulpix comes out, we're gonna Meditate and also just Rock Tomb and then Force Pump into the Onix to knock him out, and things are super simple. We beat down the first gym of the game, which finally allows us to get a second Pokemon. Outside of Mount Moon, there is a vendor out here that will give us a Magikarp. This vendor I always miss on these type of challenges, but we get ourselves a Magikarp. We go into Mount Moon, and this mini boss took me a long time as well, 45 minutes for this. But we finally beat this mini boss fight inside of Mount Moon as well, this double battle fight. And we can move on into Cerulean City to get ourselves the next vendor, which we have an option between a Hisuian and also a Wonder Egg. Hisuian eggs obviously guarantee you a Hisuian Pokemon, but also Wonder Eggs allowed you to get some very unique Pokemon. We actually end up getting a Floette. We chose to get a Floette, which is actually pretty nice. Floette has absolutely broken stats, which are going to be amazing for us to have. Very high special defense, very high special attack, As we move on and face off against Cerulean City's gym leader next, we're going to face off against Misty, and she's the water type gym leader of the game. We'll start the battle off against her using my Gyarados to just destroy the lantern. As you can see, just two-shot him, and then we can switch out into our Mewtwo against Frogadier. Unfortunately, it's going to go down. Allow us to go out to my Gyarados once again and just keep biting against the Floatzel to knock him out. And then she switched out into her Starmie next, gets destroyed by my Gyarados. Gyarados will get knocked out by the Frogadier, but I mean the damage has been done. I sent on my Floette, so much special defense and just bulk in general that I'm able to knock out the Frogadier just by wishing up Grassy Terrain. And then for some reason I'm using Fairy Wind instead of Magical Leaf. I don't know why, but we eventually knock out the Frogadier. We get our second gym badge of the game, and also allow us to go into Vermilion City to get ourselves the next Egg Bender, which in here there's a lot of options. I look for a lot of Hisui Pokemon. I don't like a lot of the Hisui Pokemon in here, which I mean might be a bummer for you guys, because I actually settle on a Score Bunny with Libero, which is going to be a very interesting ability. It's like Protein. It switches up its typing as soon as it uses Move, so it's going to be very useful. As we go into the next gym, we face off against Lieutenant Surge next, which is going to be the Electric type gym leader of the game. We'll start the battle off against him using my Floette. Pretty simple. We set up Grassy Terrain to get rid of his Electric Terrain, which is just bend him off, and we're able to knock out the Pincurchin. Go out to my Raboot to Sucker Punch into the Raichu with Libero, and then Vigavolt gets the same punish. It just destroyed him completely, and Lieutenant Surge just gets demolished here easily. In this sense, I want to switch out into my Mienshao to avoid getting swept by the Manectric if it comes in. So I'm going to go out into my Gyarados to lower his attack stat, go out into my Raboot to knock him out, and things are looking pretty fine for us as he sends out his Manectric next, which actually doesn't go for a Charge Beam, luckily enough. And from there, we could go out into my Mienshao to knock him out, Drain Punch, Fake Out, all that good stuff. Mienshao is pretty nice. I'm so glad it evolved so early in this Romhack. And from there, we could beat Lieutenant Surge, go out into the Rock Tunnel, and clear it pretty easily. We're having so much more fun. I cannot stress to you how easy it is after getting past the first two mini boss and the first gym of the game. All my Pokemon are good now. I'm not stuck with one or two Pokemon. I'm out there enjoying the Romhack finally. But after that, we actually go out into Cerulean City and teach our Gyarados and our Cinderace Iron Head, which is going to be a useful move in the upcoming gym. You'll see why in a second. And also, I think it stays on my Cinderace into the end of the game, which is interesting. I didn't mean to get it, but Iron Head is Iron Head. Anyways, we're going to face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Erika next. Start the battle off against her using my Floette. Interesting. We're going to Wish Up in the first turn, bait out a Grassy Glide, and then Misty Terrain up to get rid of the Rillaboom's Grassy Surge. So now it's a free battle. I go out to my Cinderace, Pyro Ball to knock out the Rillaboom, bait out the Electro, and then go out to my Gyarados to bait out the Self-Destruct. We're able to survive it pretty easily. She goes out to her Meganium, which is part Fairy typing in this game. So I'm able to Iron Head 3 times to knock her out, and we're able to beat down the Meganium with my Water type. Then it's going to switch out to her Superior, which will get a boost up, but I go out into my Cinderace to knock him out. And then her final Pokemon will be a Venusaur, which I'm just going to go for an Iron Head. I went for a flinch, didn't get the flinch, but avoided the poison move, and I'm able to Pyro Ball, basically put her in range of Fake Out, and we're able to knock her out. And things are pretty simple. Oh, I outspeed her? U-turn. Okay, U-turn kills. Never mind. Not Fake Out range. But from there, though, after beating Erika, we're able to go into the game corner, which we could get our final 2 members of the game, each of them costing $100,000, which is going to be pretty steep. But we get ourselves a Rotom and also a Beldum, 2 Pokemon I don't use too often on this channel, so we're going to use them. They're quite the pieces to my team. They make my team so much better, as they're better synergy within my team with all the typing and all the special attacking and physical attacking, and they're able to mega options. It's pretty unique. Anyways, from there, we're going to start sweeping through the game pretty easily. Like, there is not a single battle that we had to struggle with, I don't think, for a long time. This Giovanni fight, I choked a lot. I still beat it pretty easily. And then going through against Ariana and Archer, destroyed them pretty easily, as you can see from here. Even though the Sceptile cleaned up for me, I also beat down Giovanni on the first try, which is crazy enough. I'm just sweeping through them without a single care in the world. We face off against the 5th gym leader in the game. We face off against Sabrina next, and her team is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's not as good as my team as we first try her. I start the battle with my Metagross and also my Gyarados to Meteor Mash into the Hatterene, and I don't have Crunch on accident, so I go for an Aqua Tail against the Indeedee and one-shot it on accident. I also one-shot the Hatterene, and then her next 2 Pokemon, a Crawdon and Porygon 2. I still messed up on this fight a lot, as I'm going for an Iron Head and Meteor Mash against the Crawdon. I didn't need to do that. Then I go for a Hammer Arm, and I'm able to knock out the Crawdon, forcing the Gardevoir, even though she sets up Trick Room. So I'm able to Meteor Mash and knock out the Gardevoir for us, as the Ursaluna goes for a Protect. All fine. Basically, the battle's over because her main threat is gone in Gardevoir. And my Metagross, my first Pokemon that I sent out, is still out here. We're able to chip down the Porygon 2 and then eventually knock out the Ursaluna. Easily first try Sabrina, and then we face off against the Cycling Road, which is where we actually came into a bit of trouble because they actually made me black out multiple times, which is unfortunate. I don't know why. This is the hardest route in the game. I'm glad they added it. It's kind of annoying, but I'm glad they added it because it adds a new part into the game, which I don't like. But you know what, it's actually good for the game. From there, we're going to face off against the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Koga next. Koga is pretty unique. I'm going to start the battle off against the Swallow using my Rotom to Thunderbolt and knock him out. Sack my Rotom against him, which is unfortunate. I go out into my Cinderace next. Cinderace will one-shot the Selgor, nothing too difficult. I could have stayed in against this Greninja, but I don't see the purpose of that. I go out to my special defensive wall, which is going to be Floette. Too bad it doesn't get affected with Aviolite. It would have been very useful because you can evolve them technically, because this is kind of the final stage. We're able to knock out the Greninja and then knock out the Drapion using my Mian Shell. Dragon Ball comes out. I go out to my Cinderace and then a double KO. So I go down and also his Dragon Ball goes down. And then his final Pokemon will be a Toxicity, which I'm able to Zen Head, but knock it out. Again, my team is just so good. After I got through the first half of the game, out of the first 2 major fights in the game, I'm balling. I'm going crazy. I go out and face Misty in this rematch just to get the Gyarados Mega Stone. I don't do this normally, but I just want to flex on everyone because I don't get to use these great Pokemon all the time. I got to use some garbage Pokemon, but since this is a hard challenge, I get to use some decent Pokemon. So it's going to be great. As we face off against Blaine next, it's going to be the 7th gym leader in the game. I played this so horribly, but my team is so good that I'm able to just win it. As I start the battle off against Blaine, high jump kicking, not doing enough damage to the Torkoal, and so I gotta go for another high jump kick. He then sends out his Typhlosion. I sack my Floette, which, thinking back, why did I do this? Because I lived it and then I threw it away. Then I go out to my Metagross thinking I can outspeed it with Bullet Punch. No, it didn't work. So I go out to my Cinderace to Sucker Punch. Well, I go for an Iron Head, going for a flinch. It didn't work. I go out for my Mian Shell. Finally, high jump kick knocks him out. I go out to my Rotom against the Cinderace. Lucky enough, it does knock him out. But the Executor, I'm just staying in here using Scald. This is pathetic. I actually got him down to lower enough HP where I go out to my Gyarados to knock him out. I do have Moxie as an ability, so Moxie would knock out the Executor. Aquatail would knock out the Sunflora, and I'm able to live his Air Slash and Aquatail to knock him out. And we beat Blaine, even though I played that so horribly. Next up, we're going to face off against Ariana and Archer, and we still first tried him. I mean, my team is pretty broken, so it's not surprised I first tried him, but I did first try him pretty easily. As I go out to my Gyarados, and I'm able to knock out the Honchkrow and also the Rhyperior, end up beating Ariana pretty easily, and also first trying Giovanni in this double battle fight with Lance, and I'm just disregarding the Mewtwo, the biggest threat on the field. I'm disregarding because I want to make this battle a 2v1. Just disregarding the Mewtwo, not my problem. Eventually, Lance can send out his Salamence. This is also my first, I think Metagross is my first Pokemon, is it not? No, Rotom was my first Pokemon I sent out, but Metagross was my second Pokemon and basically carried me the whole way. And then from there, we beat down Giovanni, face off against the final major boss of the game. We face off against Claire. Claire's can start the battle off against us using the Aerodactyl. That gets jebaited in with Iron Defense. He goes for a taunt. I go for a Meteor Mash, get attack boost, Bullet Punch to knock her out. She then sends out Dragovich. I go for an Earthquake because I got greedy and Bullet Punch, do enough damage to allow me to go out to my Floette and then bait in a Fleur Cannon against her. So I could go out into my Gyarados. I got Paralyzed on it too, so it's a free Dragon Dance, and I'm able to 1v1 her Duraludon, which she sends out. 2-shot it, pretty nice, and also 1-shot the Magnera, or Magearna, I should say Magearna, that's how you say it properly. Now you know it knocks me out, which is fine. I go out into my Cinderace. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm Iron Heading and then Sucker Punching. So there's Sucker Punch twice, but Sucker Punch would knock out the rest of her team, as you can see, and we end up beating Claire with our Libero Cinderace. Next up, we also first tried both our rivals, Gary and also Brendan, and then we forgot the HM for Strength again. Why do I always forget it? If I always forget it, how do I still forget it, even though I remember that I forget it? Anyways, we can clear through Victory Road really easily. Nothing too difficult out here. I love the following animation for the Pokemon. It's really fun. They also showed the Megas, which is really nice. From there, though, we can finally go into the Elite Four and challenge off against the Elite Four. Someone told me that Lorelai's team is based on when you enter the Elite Four, which is unfortunate because it's the Ice team again, but it actually works out for us as we start the battle off against her using my Choice Scarf Cinderace and also my Mienshao with a Focus Sash. We're going to Powerball into the Ninetales to avoid a Aurora Veil and also High Jump Kick into Glaceon to knock him out. Just 2 Pokemon go down. Unfortunately, my Mienshao goes down, which is unfortunate. I'm going to save my Cinderace for later, so I'm going to go out to my Rotom and also Light of Ruin to attack the Rotom, do so much damage, which is nice. And then I go for a Thunderbolt against the Azumarill to get a Paralyze, which is nice. I'm trying to knock out the Rotom for me. She then goes out to her Calyrex, which I'm going for a Skull Burn, does not get it, and she's gonna knock out both my Pokemon. Not a big deal, as I go out to my Gyarados and also my Metagross. Metagross is going to one-shot the Calyrex, luckily it hits. And then I can Aqua Tail into the Azumarill, doesn't knock him out, but the Azumarill does get paralyzed for me. And if for some reason I'm able to knock out the Azumarill, but I can't hit a Meteor Mash to save my life, as my Gyarados goes down against the Abomasnow. I have to go out to my Cinderace to knock out the Abomasnow. Somehow Metagross just can't hit a Meteor Mash. So I'm able to beat Lorelai and move out into some easy battles next. We're going to face off against Bruno next. Start the battle off against Bruno using my Metagross against his Infernape. Infernape is going to get you baited in with Iron Defense again, and it's just super simple. Bullet Punch to knock him out. Conkeldurr comes out next. I go for a Meteor Mash. I want a 1v1 to Conkeldurr. I'm going for blood out here. Knock out the Conkeldurr. He then goes out to his Urshifu to knock me out, which is fine. I go out to my Floette. Moonblast to knock him out. He then goes out to his Monster Zacian, which I go out to my Rotom and, bait out a close combat to go out into my Cinderace. So I close combat as I go for a Pyro Ball. His next Pokemon is going to be a Como. I go for a bounce. I'm just BMing at this point. I go for a second bounce against Lucario, and at this point I just go out into my Gyarados whenever I want and just knock out both his Lucario and also his Como. Super simple. As we go out to the next Elite Four member, we face off against Agatha next, and same thing happens. I start off the battle against her using my Metagross to Meteor Mash into the Grimmsnarl, and then a Dragapult comes out next. So I want to avoid losing HP on my Floette, so I decided to just sack my Rotom. Why not? Just sack my Rotom. There it goes. Then I go out to my Choice Scarf Floette to Moonblast into the Dragapult to knock him out for sure. The Gengar comes out. I go out to my Cinderace. Nothing too worrisome about that, as I'm able to Sucker Punch, one-shot it. Hydreigon comes out. I just go back into my Floette. It's a Cinderace and Floette tag team right now as I go out, knock out the Hydreigon, go back out to my Cinderace to knock out the Spectrier, as you can see. So things are looking pretty easy for us, as her final Pokemon is a Marshadow. All I gotta do is go out to my Floette to knock her out. Unfortunately, since I first turned both Agatha and Bruno, Lance takes 4 tries. So I start the battle off against Lance using my Metagross, little trick, Meteor Mash into Bullet Punch to knock out the Aerodactyl. He then goes out to his Dracovish, which I have an issue with, so I'm going to sack my poor Metagross. It's fine. Go out to my Floette next. I know it's going to switch out to his Melmetal next, so I go out to my Rotom. Looking for a burn, does not get a burn into the very end, which is annoying, but I go out to my Gyarados next, 2 Dragon Dance up, and then I'm able to knock out the Melmetal. Unfortunately, I don't get the Moxie boost, but I'm able to knock out the Dragonite and also Dracovish, which 3 Pokemon down, looking pretty easy, as this Dialga knocks me out. I'm able to High Jump Kick it multiple times, and Light of Ruin to knock him out. So we're able to knock out the Dialga, and his final Pokemon will be a Salamence, which I Light of Ruin and knock him out. So we end up beating Lance pretty easily. And now we head into the Champions Room. We face off against Gary. Gary's going to start the battle off against us using a Pheromosa, which I go for a Scald. I don't get a burn. Basically my Rotom's useless. I just gotta sack him. I go out to my Gyarados next, Mega Up, not Dragon Dance actually, Earthquake into the Metagross to make sure I get some kills. I knock out the Pheromosa on accident, which will take. He then goes out to his Ditto to copy my Mega Gyarados. I go out to my Floette to Light of Ruin to knock him out for sure. So for some reason I save my Floette, which actually will become useful later on. I go out to my Gyarados next to actually Dragon Dance finally, and I'm able to knock out the Groudon with taking a Thunder Wave though, so it's unfortunate. He then goes out to Yveltal next, which I'm just going to sack my Gyarados, it's fine. I go out to my Mienshao next, fake out High Jump Kick. No, he's going to go for an Oblivion Wing. And I go out into my Kit Kat, my Floette, because I predicted him using Sucker Punch. I go for a Wish, as he goes for a Sucker Punch again. I double out into my Mienshao as he goes for Sucker Punch again, which is kind of funny. My Mienshao gets healed up all the way, allows me to fake out and High Jump Kick to knock out Yveltal. He then goes out to his Metagross, which I go out to my Cinderace, take a Fire Punch, which will take it, Sucker Punch to knock out the Metagross, and his final Pokemon will be Eternatus, which I Sucker Punch into him. And then all I gotta do, keep sucker punching into him, fake out with my main shell, bullet punch with my Metagross, go out to my main shell again, fake out, knock him out. Super simple. We destroyed this entire game. First half of the game took over 5 hours to get the egg, to get the right egg, and to get the right RNG to beat Falkner. The rest of the game took under 2 hours. Can you believe that? 7 hours of trying to beat this Romhack. 5 hours to beat the first mini boss. The rest of the game, the rest of the hardest Romhack possible is beaten under 2 hours, which is crazy. But that will be the end of the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you guys can, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also watch my other videos. Anyways, my name's been Alpha. Hope you all had a great day, and watch out for Saturday's video because that's going to be a great one. Anyways, my name's been Alpha. Hope you all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.